Hello, 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 and welcome to session 11 of the Institutional Prop Education. In this session, we are going to recap all the psychology topics that we have covered thus far in the previous 3 sessions. You might want to stick around because there might be some things that I'm going to add in this session that I didn't do in the previous sessions. So stick around. Even though it's a recap, I'm still going to be expanding on certain topics, and we are going to have a really insightful session. Okay, so without any further ado, I think we can begin. We have enough people on the call right now. So we're going to start off with the first section that we covered within the psychological, in the psychology space, within the psychology of trading, okay? So first things first, we're going to start off with the mind. Now, my voice is back. I'm doing much better, so this will be a good one. Okay, so starting off, we have the mind, okay? So understanding the mind, we need to know not the brain yet, but just the mind. We need to understand that there are 2 parts to the mind. There is your conscious mind, okay? We are going to go through everything that the conscious mind entails, and then we have the subconscious mind. Okay, for anybody that just joined, we are doing a recap of everything. Stick around because I'm going to be expanding on certain topics within the space, okay, within the psychology space. Okay, so we have firstly our conscious mind that is responsible for everything that you do in your waking moments, okay? And then we have obviously the subconscious mind, and that is for everything that we do not deliberately do, okay? But it is functions and programs that run in the background, okay? Stick around, guys. This is going to get interesting, okay? So firstly, the mind is responsible for a few things, and it makes up 5%, okay? The conscious mind makes up only 5%, and the rest is based on the subconscious mind, okay? So your conscious mind is responsible for your awareness, okay? You know who you are, right? That is your conscious mind, that when you wake up, you realize, okay, cool, I am here at home, I am aware, this is me, I have things to do today, I have a schedule, and so forth, okay? That is your awareness. Next up, we have our thoughts. So your day-to-day thoughts, things, whatever it is that you are thinking at any given moment in your waking life, okay, when you are awake and not asleep, okay, these things, your thoughts that will be running through your mind, is this a good trade? Am I going to make money today? Whatever thoughts is running through your mind, oh, I need to pay bills, that is responsible. Your conscious mind is responsible for that. Okay, next up, we have our memory recall. We are able to recall certain memories at any point in time. Okay, at any point in time, you are able to recall certain memories, be it of your childhood, be it something that happened recently and you need to remember, where you put something. That is what your conscious mind is also responsible for, recalling certain memories, and this helps our lives become a lot better. Right, next up, we have our feelings, okay? The ability to regulate our feelings. Sorry. So how many of you know that, anytime we put on, let's say, some music, and that music makes us feel a certain way, we got so in tune with the music that we actually decided to select that this makes us feel good, okay? And you are able to do that in the present moment because of your conscious mind. You can choose for certain things to upset you, or if it's, if you can let it go, okay? Most people do not have the emotional intelligence, okay, to let certain things be good as they are, or to let things be bad and just brush it off. A lot of people react immediately, okay? And they are not able to fully regulate their emotions. Hence, you will see, say you cut someone off in traffic, and this person just starts bursting out and screaming and carrying on and all of that. That person does not know how to regulate their feelings, their emotions, okay? Now, likewise, when you get to your trading desk, okay, your awareness, the awareness that you will have to say, okay, I'm about to trade, I need to be calm. And if you are unable to do that, you end up allowing certain things that we are going to learn just a bit later. You allow certain things to take over, okay? Certain emotions to run wildly in your mind, therefore causing you to basically fall into this one state that we are going to cover once we get into the brain section of things. But being able to regulate your feelings takes awareness to do so, okay? So know how you're feeling at any moment. If you don't like it, change it. That's the difference. A lot of people think that they cannot change the way that they feel. You are absolutely capable of changing the way you feel, and you are responsible for doing that, okay? You can look at a losing trade and say, oh, that was just me paying my tuition fees, okay? It's not a loss, because right now I just learned that by me getting in at New York session, as soon as the bell rings and I'm in the market, that causes high volatility. There's a high chance that I can blow my account. You see, when you take responsibility and you start to choose how you want to regulate your feelings, okay, you make that that conscious choice to say, okay, I'm going to regulate my feelings now, right? This is so important, guys. Next up, we're going to move to the subconscious, okay? This is all the automatic stuff that is happening without you, okay? Without your conscious input, these things are happening. So on the first end, we have survival, okay? So your subconscious is responsible for your survival. You do not tell your body when to breathe. You do not tell your body when to pump blood. You do not tell your what you call these things, these small microorganisms that live inside you to fight off bacteria, okay? This happens automatically, okay? It is part of your biology and it is governed by the subconscious. Likewise, your subconscious knows certain things when you were growing up, okay? As you were growing up, you learned that water on a boiling on a stove, boiling water on a stove is not good. You shouldn't touch it because you can burn. So it will prevent you from putting your hand into a fire or into a boiling pot of water. Why? Because it is trying to keep you alive. That is your subconscious main job, is to keep you alive. Okay. Next up, we have beliefs. Okay, so when you look at your beliefs, like I said, as you were growing up, certain things were shown to you and you started to believe that. That basically shaped your world. And the people that shaped your world, they are your tribe, okay? They are your people. Now, for you, you would never want to be disowned by your tribe. So you follow the things that they do, you do the things that they've taught you to, and so forth. And this then allows you to, so this then allows you to go into society with certain morals and beliefs and things like that. If your family believed that it is hard to make money, okay, money is hard to come by, that is a belief that you go into the world with. And as you start working and making money for yourself, you too believe that money is hard to come by, money is hard to make, and therefore you start living according to those beliefs. It is imperative as adults that we change these beliefs, okay? It is so important to change these beliefs. Next up, so it programs our automatic actions. Like I said, you can be at the basin brushing your teeth. You are not thinking that I need to go back and forth each time with my toothbrush. You are not thinking that you need to brush your back teeth and then come back to your front teeth. These are automatic actions. Likewise, if you get into a vehicle, you start the car, you put it into first gear or you put it into drive, and you drive all the way without consciously thinking that I have to, sorry, that I have to put the brake on or I have to accelerate. What these things happen automatically, okay? You do not have to learn how to drive each time you get into a vehicle. And that is your subconscious that is responsible for you just knowing how to do certain things. And then it gets programmed. So you can never forget it. You can be sitting on the back of a motorbike for the rest of your life. And then one day you can just jump back into a car and you'll be able to drive again, okay? Maps reality without our awareness. Certain things, you see, when it comes to regulating our feelings, you know, when we are unable to regulate our feelings on a conscious level, then the subconscious will take over and start to do those things for you. Now, remember, I told you some people, they can, you know, just get upset at a traffic light or whatever, and, you know, it can just become an emotional tear down, basically, right? Of things just happening all over, people screaming and shouting and this and that. And that is because they've allowed their subconscious to map their reality, making them think that everybody is against them. You just cut me off because you are trying to harm me or cause danger, or, you know, you're trying to provoke me and stuff like that. And that is not the case. Other things, you know, it gives meaning to our memories. Certain memories that we have, you know, there's a lot of meaning attached to that. Now, some people, this is something that we need to get, guys, and I hope that guys will rewatch this video, because this part especially is what changed my life. Okay, it gives meaning to memories. If you can choose, because that's the other thing also, you can impress the subconscious with your conscious mind, and it's all about just making a choice and saying that is the way that it is. You don't have to believe it, you just have to say, and that's that. Okay, so let me give you an example. If somebody says something mean to you, hateful towards you, okay, you can look at that, and let's say it impacted you negatively, you know, it really hurt your feelings and so forth, and you continue, and now you do not want to associate with new people. Why? Because this new person that you met hurt your feelings this way. Okay, you can, from this state where you feel you do not want to meet new people, you can choose to give that memory a different meaning, because we are doing it all the time. We are constantly giving meaning to our memories and to situations and things around us. Okay, so you can open your bank account and say, and you can see that, oh, there's no money in my account. Okay, now what does that mean for you? You choose the meaning. That means I'm broke. That means, oh, it's going to be that much harder to get more money. That means, you know, I'm going to struggle. That is the meaning we automatically associate with these things. But by you being able to change the meaning and say, oh, this just means that now I have the opportunity to become more creative, to make money in a different area. Change the meaning of things and watch how your life will transform before your very eyes. I know this is off the topic of trading, but even if you can also change the meaning of what happened in the past when you lost a big account or whatever, a trading account or a funded account, you can just say, oh, that was in preparation. Do you understand what I'm saying? Change what it means. It doesn't mean you are a failure. It just means that you have another opportunity to do better. It means that, you know, this now prepares you for an even bigger account, so you know exactly what to do. Change the meaning. Trust me, this is gold. If you are able to change the meaning of certain things, if your girlfriend dumps you, you'll be like, oh, okay, that's fine. If your girlfriend or boyfriend dumps you, you say, okay, that's fine. That just means they are not mature enough. Move on. Finished. That just means they couldn't see my worth. They couldn't see my value. I need to move on. No problem. Okay, I hope that sunk in. Next up, take a quick screenshot, everything. I just wanted to put this in here as well, just so that you know you can basically get it, understand it, and apply this. I hope everybody that got this from session 8, you know, was able to do this exercise, because trust me, this is where your trading changes. It is not in the strategy, it is in you. You are the one that is going to change your strategy. Okay, the holy grail is in your brain. Work on yourself. Okay, take a screenshot, write it down, whatever you need to, pause the video. Okay, now we're going to move on to the brain. I'm just going to pass quickly through this. So we basically have two parts to our brain that we're going to focus on in this clip. There's many parts to the brain, but specifically these two that are basically working in conjunction with each other. The first one is the prefrontal cortex, okay? Now, the prefrontal cortex is basically there to regulate, you know, to keep you alert. It's almost like your subconscious mind, okay? It's almost like your subconscious mind, and we can go through some of its attributes. It's there, number one. It helps you focus your attention. It helps you predict consequences of your actions, okay? So firstly, focusing your attention. You can choose to be focused on your trading and your trading alone in a specific moment where, you know, your family members can be in another room or whatever, but you are choosing to focus on this. That is the ability that comes from the prefrontal cortex, okay? Predict consequences, okay? I think that's self-explanatory. You know, you can see, you will know if your prefrontal cortex is online, you will know that by doing this, this will happen, you know, and I shouldn't do that because that's the outcome. I can predict the outcome, okay? Next one, anticipating events within your environment. If you hear screeching tires coming towards you, you already know to be alert and to get out of the way or whatever, or at least just to take your attention to, you know, the screeching sound that is headed your way. Impulse control, you know, you can basically control at any given moment whatever is happening. If there's, let's say you decide that you're going on a diet and now somebody comes with a massive chocolate your way and it's your favorite chocolate, you have the ability to control your impulses, okay? You can control if your prefrontal cortex is online, you know, if you are put in a position where you are about to cheat on your spouse or whatever, your prefrontal cortex being online will help you control your impulses, and you can say, nope, thank you, I am going the other way, okay? And then managing emotional responses, just like we spoke about earlier on with the mind section, you can choose which emotion you want to experience. If you are feeling sad, if you are feeling angry, put on music. You can consciously get up, okay, because the front of your brain is awake. You can say, hey, I don't want to feel this way. Let me put on that song that made me feel so good the last time. Boop, you put the song on, you are now managing your emotions, okay? And then you can choose also whether you want to react or not in a certain situation. Because you are aware that you can predict consequences, you can also manage emotional reactions. So instead of getting enraged because you know the consequence of that is you're going to get into a fight, this person looks dangerous, they could stab you, they could kill you, and so forth, okay? Next up, we're going to move to the prefrontal cortex's arch nemesis, okay? So this blue part of the brain, that is your prefrontal cortex, and that is when it is awake, when it is online. I like to say it is online, when it's functioning, okay? And over here, the minute that little section, you see where it says amygdala, okay? When that amygdala turns on, it switches off the prefrontal cortex, okay? You are able to become creative in this space, in the prefrontal cortex. But when it's time, when the amygdala gets triggered, okay, and this happens, you know, it's It's like a fight or flight thing, okay? When you are in danger, it is not time for you to think about the recipe to a book. It is not from a book, you know? It is not time for you to get creative and start painting a picture. No, that is why it switches off that part and it puts us into this fight or flight state where we can now use all our energy to get to safety. Okay, so the amygdala activates the fight or flight response without any initiative from you. So if there's a tiger or whatever in front of you, your brain will automatically switch off. Okay, because it senses danger, it will signal to your brain to pump stress hormones into your body to prepare you to prepare your body to either fight for survival or to flee to safety. Okay, and likewise, you know, the same thing, we are triggering our amygdala when we start trading. Why? Because we get in front of the charts, we lost money before, and that triggered an emotional response. That triggered stress in us before. So now again, you go and you trade, and then you lose money. There, the stress comes again. So by the third, fourth time that you go to the charts, it automatically knows now, because you've taught your brain basically that every time I do this, I get put in danger, so to speak, because my stress levels rise. I get fearful, I get anxious, you know, all of these things. I feel anger and aggression because I just lost my account and all of this. So the more we do this, you know, the more we do this, the more we are ingraining a path in our brain that makes it harder and harder for us to leave this action. But you can always do it. That's something that you need to understand. We can always come back and erase the damage that was caused. Okay, so by getting to your desk, and you see these things are happening, and you keep on feeling a certain emotion, you keep on reacting a certain way, you know, that triggers your amygdala and makes your brain basically think that you are in a position where you need to fight for your life, you know. And ultimately, pardon, this switches off your prefrontal cortex. Now you cannot read the chart. You cannot read chart patterns. You can't recall, you know, the knowledge that you have about the charts. None of that stuff works because the prefrontal cortex is offline when the amygdala goes on. Okay, so when we keep on doing this thing over and over and over again, where we get to our computers and we are stressed and frustrated and all of that, we are ingraining it into our brains, and that is done through neurons. Okay, so neurons are the information messengers. They use electrical impulses and chemical signals to transmit information between different areas of the brain and between the brain and the rest of our nervous system. Okay, so just think about it. Neurons are basically these highways of information. And think about it. If you walk through a field or a forest, let's say a field, okay? You walk through a field. The first time you walk through that field, let's say the field has some long grass. You walk through that field, you will see that the grass will basically separate, okay? And if you never walk that road again, it will probably go back to normal as if you never walked there ever. But if you start to walk down that field, that same road every single day, you will see that that path becomes more clearer, okay? Grass doesn't grow there anymore, that it's just a pathway now. Okay, so likewise with your brain, the more you think certain things, the more you perform certain actions, okay, it gets ingrained in your brain and it goes deeper and deeper, and that road becomes thicker and thicker. And by the time you realize that, oh, I've done this much damage, you're going to do just as much work to get that road back to being a normal field again in your brain. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So just a bit about neurons and how they look. If we look over here, we can see this is a newborn baby, 1 month, 9 months, 2 years, and an adult. You can see that the neurons in the newborn's brain is very, very little, okay? And it is also, there aren't any connections. There are very few connections that have been made. Okay, why? Because the newborn just got there. It didn't learn anything new. It doesn't know anything. It doesn't know anyone's faces. All it knows is voices, okay? Because when it was in the womb, it heard its parents' voices. And as you can see in the newborn section, there's like one long neuron that basically is connected, okay, all the way to the top. And that would be probably the sound of people's voices that it recognizes. By 1 month, it's getting stronger, it's making new connections, it knows faces, it knows what things feel like, and so forth. By 9 months, you know, all of these things are now happening around the baby. It knows certain sounds, it knows colors and all of that, you know, what they look like. All of those connections are being made, okay? And the more you expose the baby to those things, the stronger those connections become. By 2 years, there are so many connections in the brain of a 2-year-old because it's learning so many things. And if you look at the difference between a 2-year-old and an adult, you can clearly see that the 2-year-old has more connections because it is more accepted, you know. Let me say, it is more, man, the words are slipping me right now, but it is more susceptible to knowledge. It wants to learn, it wants to explore, and so forth, okay? An adult has chosen to never revisit certain things because, you know, it has been deemed unimportant or whatever. And you will see the connection in an adult's brain. There are so many connections that are much deeper, okay? Those deeper connections are, you know, the route that they travel to work, their loved ones in their lives, you know, the way they react in certain situations, this, that, their personality, the things that they do, if they have habits, you know, all of those are deeper ingrained in their brain, okay? So one thing we need to understand is, you know, once we develop these strong neurons in our brains, we need to know how to get rid of the bad ones and how to make new ones, basically, okay? So firstly, what we're going to do is, how are we going to achieve this? Okay, so firstly, we need to practice awareness. I think further on down, I did include the other ones as well. But first, we need to practice awareness. We need to be aware of how we are feeling and thinking at any given moment. We need to know what it feels like, what we are feeling, and we need to know that we are able to choose differently. Sometimes it is, a lot of people find comfort in sitting in their sorrow, or, you know, just being overwhelmed or stressing because they feel like by them stressing, they have some kind of control over the situation. Please understand, you do not have any control over anything, okay? And by you stressing about it, you know, you are just making it worse on your end, because chances are the thing that you are stressing about won't even happen, okay? So do not stress. Trust me when I say this. Okay, so firstly, practice awareness. Become aware more and more. Each and every day, become aware. Oh, I'm doing an automatic action right now by brushing my teeth. I'm aware of that. Okay, this is how I'm feeling right now. Let's see if I can change it. Okay, you are aware of yourself. You are aware of the things you are feeling and thinking at the same time. Okay. Number two, we're going to mentally prepare. So this is how we are going to get to the point where we are going to retrain our brain, basically, you know, when it comes to trading. Every time we go to our charts, every time we go to trade, we now need to understand certain things, okay? And it is so important. So when you make yourself aware, okay, so we practice awareness, and now we are going to use awareness just before we go and trade, because we've got, have so many bad habits. We have done so many things that has basically made those neurons so strong in our brain that is the same as us losing, okay? So the neurons that are responsible for us losing, we need to weaken those and strengthen new ones that sets us on a path to winning, okay? So the way you're going to weaken those, you need to make yourself aware. So do not equate a winning position with what you can buy for that amount, okay? Sit on your hands. If your target is sitting at, let's say, 100 pips, and right now it's sitting at 30 pips, and you see the amount that is flashing on the screen, and you're like, man, you know, I can buy myself this, this, and this with this money, but you are not doing certain things, i.e. holding that trade to completion to take profit. You are not holding that trade to take profit, right? And that is a bad habit on your end. So the more and more you keep taking off your trade before it hits TP, the more and more you are going to ingrain that in your neurons, and you are going to make that path stronger and stronger and stronger, okay? So start changing the way that you do things, okay? And then tell yourself before you place the trade, I am definitely going to experience some drawdown, okay? That doesn't mean that I am automatically losing the position just because I am in drawdown. Or do not get fearful, you know, when you are in drawdown. Know that your stop loss is there if it goes too far and you are wrong about the trade. It is okay to be wrong. Let the stop loss do its job of protecting your account from blowing. Let the stop loss get hit, okay? It is normal, okay? Next up, know that there will be retracements when you are in profit. The market is going to pull back at some point. It is natural. Stick with it, okay? Let's see. Understand the trade can either be a winner or a loser, but you are fine with the outcome, and you do not react emotionally whether it is a winning trade or a losing trade. You are just there to trade, okay? Same like brushing your teeth. You go to the sink, you are not there to have a good brush of your teeth or a bad brush of your teeth. You are just there to brush your teeth. And once that action is done, you are not celebrating or you are not sad. You just go to brush your teeth and you're finished. Likewise, you go place the trade. If you know your strategy, if you know your strategy allows you to win, let's say, go back. If you know your strategy allows you to win 6 out of 10 trades, it doesn't matter where those losing trades come in, okay? The only thing that matters is I am trading my strategy each and every time, okay? Am I going to get 1 loss here, 5 wins, and the rest just losses? Yeah, that's a possibility, okay? But you need to just trade your strategy over and over and over again, okay? And don't react. Okay, when we don't react emotionally, we don't give the subconscious chance to create a program, okay? Remember from the first one, right? From the mind, our subconscious. So when we don't react emotionally, okay, we don't give the subconscious a chance to create a program based on that feeling and event. So it is not an alarmed state for us, okay? Make trading as a natural action, not being an emotionally charged one, just like brushing your teeth or driving, okay? We don't want to trigger the amygdala when we trade, okay? Because it is a normal action. It is a normal function. You do not want to trigger this thing and then cause you to start doing, start basically going offline and just reacting out of survival, okay? So next, we're going to look at the section of discipline that we've been through. So discipline is when in the moment you are placing your future self's needs ahead of your own, okay? So in other words, the benefit to you in the future is more important than the reward in the present. And the one example I got for this is smoking, okay? In the moment, we are gratified. For those who don't smoke, take something else as an example for yourself, whether it's food or whatever, just laying and watching Netflix all the time, you know, you can take that as an example for yourself. Okay, but you are doing what is making you feel good in the moment when you know that it is damaging you in the future. Okay, and by you doing these things now, you also create a pattern to allow you to continuously do it. So you have to break down that pattern. Okay, once you break the pattern, you can step outside of this thing and you can be like, okay, I understand what it is that is harmful to me and what is there to basically grow me. Okay, and trust me when I say this, everything that grows you doesn't feel good in the moment. Things that don't grow you always feel good in the moment. So that's how you can differentiate between the two. I am here on a Saturday evening because I know this is not only growing me, but it is growing you as well. So my service to you is actually more rewarding to me, and that being in the future. One day when you finally see me or know who I am or whatever, you will come to me and tell me, hey man, you really helped me in my journey with trading. And that is a reward for me, knowing that I made an impact on someone's life. Okay. But that's not even what it's about. I'm just giving an example, you know, but this is genuinely how I feel. That's how I feel. That is why I still do this. Okay. Anyway, so it all boils down to whether or not we are prioritizing the needs of our future self or the desires of our present self. That's what it boils down to at all costs. So if ever you want to know, is what I'm doing a good thing? Think about if it's benefiting you in the future. If it benefits you in the future, then it's good. If it doesn't benefit you in the future and only benefits you now in the present moment, then it is not good for you. Okay. Now, does that mean you are not allowed to have any kind of fun or whatever? That's not what I'm saying. You can enjoy for a moment, but the minute it becomes a habit and you start doing it over and over and over again, it is not good for you. Okay. So most failures we can attribute to future self-neglect. Okay. Any failure, if you think about, say for instance, you look 10 years into the future and you see that you can see that you didn't become a profitable trader. Okay. If you look back and see the things that you were doing that led to you not being a profitable trader, it is clearly because you neglected yourself in the future while you were there in the past, performing all of these silly actions that were causing you to stay behind. Some people get addicted to funding accounts. You just want to fund. You don't want to withdraw. Okay? You are so used to and you are so addicted to just funding accounts over and over and over again, right? So, jokes aside, but all failures can be attributed to future self-neglect. So every time you do something that neglects your future self, okay, know that you are leading to a straight failure. There's no two ways about it. And a few of those things are, you know, especially in trading, you know, number one, we know that we should not risk capital we cannot afford to lose. Okay. You know that this money is meant for something else and I shouldn't be trading that, but you still do it anyway. Okay. Knowing that you are not yet profitable, you go and take money from people or you take money that is meant for something important and so forth. We know that we should exit trades with a small loss because why? This is going to benefit us in the future. If we take a small loss today, tomorrow I still have my account to trade. Does that make sense? You see, but if you neglect your future self tomorrow and you only think about today and you think, hey, let me try and make all that money. Let me try and make the money I lost last week and all of this. Then you start opening up yourself to more risk. Instead of closing with small loss, you now end up with a blown account because you weren't thinking about the you tomorrow that is going to trade, okay? We know that we should not be fearful or greedy in the markets, yet we find ourselves going back in. Even after we had a winning day, we placed 9 trades and those 9 trades were all winners, okay? But then you become greedy, okay? And then you go back in one last time. Let's see if I can push it to this amount, okay? And then you end up losing the whole account. Why? Because you didn't want to even take a small loss. So you kept moving your stop loss, moving your stop loss, moving your stop loss until the account blew, okay? You know that you should not be fearful, but you put yourself in fearful situations like trading high impact news. Okay, so just because you open MetaTrader on your phone, okay, and you have a funded account, it does not mean it is time to take a trade, okay, whether you board on your lunch break or whatever, okay? It doesn't mean that you have to take the trade. Just because there's money in your trading account, I know that a lot of you have been there. I'm sure every single trader has been there where it's just like, let me just look for a trade quickly. Oh, this looks nice. Boop, place a trade just because you have funds in your account. Instead of sitting, going over your plan and, you know, basically trading based on a strategy where you wait for certain things to happen, not just, oh, this looks like it's here now, let me buy, boop, and then you find yourself losing the trade, okay? Learning effective mental skills, like in this program, would be the hard way, okay? That is the hard way of doing things. So we must put our future selves' needs ahead of our present selves' desires or laziness, okay? Have you ever seen somebody that is disciplined in whatever it is that they are doing, whether it's in the gym or any other form of work, they are in the habit of doing those things. So discipline only requires, it only basically requires you to be disciplined a few times before it turns into a habit. That goes the same with thinking, with exercising, with the way you approach your trading, all of those things. All you have to do is be diligent a few times, and then it becomes a habit automatically, okay? Just like the neurons in your brain, this is why I taught you about neurons, so that you can understand. You just do it a few times, okay, to create the neural pathway. And then as that neural pathway is now created, it is not a struggle to do it anymore. You do it naturally. And the more you do it, the stronger it becomes, meaning it is harder for you to forget about it. It becomes a part of you, okay? And then the same way we form bad habits and teach our brains, and teach our brain is the same way we will change it. So the same way you did all the bad stuff, basically come to the markets, stress, trade these high impact news events that makes you fearful and all of these things, the same way you kept on doing that over and over and over again, you are going to change it. So you are going to change your approach, the way that you get to the table, the way that you sit down and you choose your emotion, okay? So that is neuroplasticity. So you can see initially that pathway, the first pathway over there, the 𝐤𝐓 pathway, right? That is your old habits, okay? So now you've decided, I'm going to start doing some new things, okay? Once you get to start doing those new things, the connections start forming, okay? The old ones are still there. You can quickly fall back to the old ones, but there is new bridges now. There is new connections because you have done new things. And then you will see the next one, the third icon over there. The more you do it, okay, so remember, you just had to do it a few times and then it becomes a habit, okay? Now that it is becoming a habit, the more times you do it, the stronger those new pathways get, and the old ones start to wither away slowly, okay? And then after you're doing it over a period of time, the bad ones, you don't even act that way anymore at all. It's not even a thought in your mind because that is not who you are. And all you are is your new behaviors and habits that you have set up for yourself. And the old ones completely fall away. Okay? I hope that makes sense, guys. I hope this was enough information for you because that is, in a nutshell, what proper trading psychology looks like. And I hope that you will go back to this. If you forget it, if you do not use the principles, if you forget to use the principles, this information is available to you. So go back, rewatch. If you can't rewatch all three, come and watch this one. Okay, that is why I did the recap. Okay, just so that you can have an idea. If it really sparks your interest, then you can go back to session 8, 9, and 10. Okay. I hope you guys enjoyed that session. That was session 11, and this is the end of our psychology. We will be heading back to charting and strategies on Tuesday. Hope you guys enjoyed that session. And that's all from me. Good night.